Nggak apa-apa. Kemarin yang Pak Zaki bilang ada dari mana? Wait ya. There is a foreigner from
Kiribati.
Where is Kiribati?
Hello, Thea. Are you there, Thea?
Iya, Pak. Iya.
Okay, please turn on your camera and introduce yourself to Bu Anidah.
Oke, Pak.
Tera ini. What should I call you, Tera? Tera, right? Terin.
Iya.
I think she's in her room, so maybe she is preparing.
It's okay. Okay, so this is the link for YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I will send to my friend.
Hello, Thea. Can you introduce yourself to Bu Anidah and Pak Fauzi? Yeah. Okay, Thea, please introduce yourself ya.
Selamat pagi.
Yeah. Are you S2 or S3? Thea?
S3.
S3.
Yeah.
She didn't know about S2.
S1.
S1.
Yeah.
My student, Bu, my student.
Oh, okay. Are they the same students, Zaki, Pak Zaki? Are the students that joining today, are they the same students that I came in 2018?
Yeah, different.
Different?
Different, because today's students are 2019 students.
Okay.
And when you came to UMY 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
They are now semester 5.
Oh, okay.
The students are semester 3. Thea, actually, where is Kiribati? Because Bu Anidah are curious to know that.
Okay, Kiribati is in Oceania continent. It's near Australia.
Near Australia?
Yeah.
Is it near Red Crab Island? Christmas Island? No.
It's an island, but I don't know that island.
Oh, you don't know that island?
Yeah, it's a small island. My country is a small island.
So your country is part of Indonesia or Australia?
No, not Indonesia.
Or Australia?
Australia, but it's far.
Okay. Tak pernah. It is not familiar to me. Your country.
Yeah. But we actually using the Australian currency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So your currency will be higher than Indonesia. Millionaire gitu kalau kamu di Indonesia.
Actually, the population in Kiribati is less than 1 million, I think.
Yeah.
Less than 1 million. Oh, okay. So you are the endangered species.
The land is smaller than Java Island, I think.
Yeah, we don't have a mountain.
We don't have mountain.
It's big. I thought you want to say that it is bigger than Yogyakarta.
How about compared to Yogyakarta, Thea? Is bigger or smaller compared to Yogyakarta?
It's smaller than Yogyakarta.
Smaller than Jogja, Bu?
Smaller.
Yeah.
Jogja berapa ramai, Pak Zaki? How many population of Yogyakarta?
Wait, I will check in Google. About 400,000. Huh? Maybe half. This is 2010. Yeah. Wait, Bu. Maybe around half million, Ibu.
$500,000. Okay. So,
More than, sorry, Ibu. Sorry, Ibu. Total for
20
the
million.
special region of Yogyakarta, 6 or 7 million.
So Yogyakarta bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger than Kinibat. What is the religion there? Yeah.
The majority, the Christian.
Oh, majority Christians.
Yeah.
So now they are celebrating Christmas, right?
Yeah.
So you are in Yogyakarta.
Yeah. I'm in here now.
You did not get the chance to celebrate with your family for this.
Yeah.
After this public lecture, you go and celebrate with Pak Zaki.
Yeah.
Go to the nearest church.
Is there church in Jogja?
Yeah, we do have, but I don't know Thea go there or not. Thea, are you going to church in Yogyakarta?
No, not yet.
Not yet. You already in Jogja 1.5 years, yeah. Fauzi, how many times you already come to UMY, Pak?
I came a few times already, but still trying to search for my cinta. Aku masih mencari cintaku di sana.
Tidak ada cinta yang mau sama Pak Fauzi di Jogja.
Masih mencari cinta, nggak jumpa.
Yang di Indonesia mau yang di Malaysia, yang di Malaysia mau yang di Indonesia. Aduh.
Mana itu, Ibu? So actually, yeah, already 58. So should we wait about 5 minutes or start?
Yes, it's okay. No rush.
No rush, yeah.
Yeah, and I actually I got a student there in Jogja, my master student.
Yeah, which
she's from she was the daughter of Prof. Khairul.
Yeah.
Of do you know him? UIN.
Pak Khairul, UIN.
I'm sorry, Pak, I don't know, Pak.
Professor. Yeah.
Khairul.
Professor.
Khairul. Sorry, Khairul, something like that.
Khairul, yeah.
Khairul, I forgot the name.
I'm sorry.
Khairul Saleh, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's okay, no worries. Yeah. So I hope
sandwich
situation can be back to normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your student who are in UMY is a sandwich program or the full-time program in UMY?
Full-time.
No, my student.
Full-time.
Full-time, right, Fauzi?
Full-time, yes. Yeah.
So maybe if
how is the
yes.
How is COVID over there?
Yeah, like we cannot control yet, but
you already get the vaccine, right?
Yeah, but they still debatable for some people, yeah.
Okay.
Because
I saw Pak Jokowi in one of the press conference saying that the Indonesia already received the ordered vaccine, but Malaysia are still waiting. Malaysia still waiting.
What are you waiting, Bu? About the halalness Or
Oh.
no. In Malaysia, what they are waiting for the halalness or
I don't know, but it is still, they say that it is still in the progress. And then we are expecting around March 2021 for the vaccine to arrive in March. So there are about 3 months more to go to receive the vaccine.
So which country, which vaccine that actually Malaysia are waiting? Germany or Russia or America?
I don't know, but hopefully not from China. That is my.
But actually China could control the pandemic very well, yeah, compared to the other countries.
That one, they use what we call it as non-pharmaceutical intervention. They use the non-pharmaceutical. So they use benda-benda yang bukan melalui medicine lah. Itu yang what I understand from what their practices, the best practices from the China.
Oh yeah.
They use the non-pharmaceutical punya. Minum lemon, bawang putih, ginger and everything. So dia tak guna yang pharmacy punya. Ubat-ubat tak ada. Tapi they produce because of their capitalistic mentality. Kan? Itu yang problem tu.
I see. Yeah.
Because some countries, they already cancel the order.
From China?
Because the vaccine proof failed. Then they don't want to proceed with the order. But I don't know Malaysia.
But actually, like the vaccine from America, they also get side effect, right? Unknown side effect. They just know after they apply the vaccine.
Yeah. You see, this is the problem. So they will have this lab rat, tikus makmal, to become the experiment.
I see. So how about the UTeM? Are there for the learning total online learning or some are the offline learning in UTeM?
Now 100% online learning.
I see.
The university will be closed until March 2021. So all the learning and teaching and learning process will be online, 100%.
The academic service.
Academic service?
Like we want to proceed some documents, student documents or lecturer documents is still
for the staff,
yeah.
We have to go to the campus.
I see.
So it is up to us whether we want to do the online learning from home or from campus. That one for the staff. But no students on campus.
Yeah. For UMY, we are applying both. Online and offline. But only
right? You call it daring.
Daring.
Online.
Dalam jaringan online.
Daring.
Luring luar jaringan means offline. But that words actually still not common, yeah.
Still not common, yeah. This is one of the new norm that we have to master.
But actually, we still are using offline and online words. Rather than we are using daring and luring.
Oh, luring. The opposite for daring, luring.
Luring, luar jaringan.
Oh, luar jaringan. Okay.
Means offline.
Luring. So the spelling LU.
LU, luring.
Okay. So daring and luring. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I get the new Indonesian word.
Atur nuwun ya.
Pak Fauzi itu orang online. Pak Fauzi. Dia dulu deputy director of Malaysian Online Center. Online learning. Tapi hari ini videonya masalah. Baru beli baru. Aduh, jangan bikin malu, Pak.
improve the quality ya Pak Fauzi ya, the camera.
Yes.
The quality of the camera.
I don't know. What is the problem? I have two cameras. One the quality is not good. This one I think the quality is better, but it doesn't work for so long.
Maybe
So sometimes it starts with the mic.
The video, not the camera. I think the problem is with the connectivity. Because Zoom,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, Zoom we only be given 45 minutes maximum for UTeM, Malaysia. But for Indonesia, you are so much into Zoom, right, Pak Zaki?
we have to buy it. We have to buy it. So
because here our university UTeM they subscribe Webex.
I see. For my university only Teams.
Oh, only Teams. Teams also we have.
I see.
We do have Teams also.
So in UMY only Teams, and sometimes if we do the event that invite outside of UMY, sometimes we buy Zoom for 1 month or for the 100 or 500 participants.
So we have the university have to subscribe the best platform. Because
for the Teams actually the for laptop or for computer is heavier than Zoom, I think. Teams.
Oh, really? I'm not familiar with Teams.
I see.
So the university give us this platform to use, but I'm not familiar with Teams. I only normally I use Webex and also Zoom. And
the other day we had this meeting. Look, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Pak.
Okay. Because it's stated here that the microphone is not working, but I've already tested, should be okay. Just to share, in UTeM the other day we have a meeting with the top management, and most probably we are also going to migrate to Teams because Teams is more stable.
Okay.
Migrate.
Migrate.
Yeah.
But how about the Webex? Webex, you have unlimited access to Webex.
Yeah, because the university subscribe. So it is unlimited.
Bapak Ibu, now we have 91 participants. Should we start or should we wait about 5 minutes again?
It's up to you as the host.
Yes.
Should we start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim, segala puja dan puji syukur kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa taala yang sudah that grant us his merciness, and today we can participate in this public lecture with the topics community dynamics post COVID-19 26 December 2020. This event is a collaboration between the Department of Agribusiness Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta and also the Universiti Teknikal Terengganu, Malaysia. That in this chance we would like to deliver a big gratitude to Dr. Anidah and then Dr. Fauzi, who gave their time for this public lecture. And then today's public lecture will be presented by two excellent speaker, which is first is Dr. Anidah binti Robani. And then she is the senior lecturer at Institute of Technology Management and Entrepreneurship, Universiti Teknikal Malaysia Melaka. And then she will deliver the topics rebuilding rural or local economy in the post-COVID-19, the role of solidarity economy. And then the second speaker will be Dr. Muhammad Fauzi bin Kamarudin. He is the Dean of Center for Language Learning, Universiti Teknikal Malaysia Melaka. And he will deliver the topic about humanizing change, empowering local leader. Actually, for this public lecture, each speaker will have a 30 minutes presentation. About 30 minutes presentation, I will give the chance first to Dr. Anidah, after that to Dr. Fauzi. After both speakers present their presentation, I will open the discussion. So I think, and then for the information for Dr. Anidah and Dr. Fauzi, these public lecture are attended by mostly maybe my students from community dynamics course that consists of about 200 students. And also I invite other people to join. So I post it in department Instagram. I post it in my social media account to invite other people, other participants to join. And fortunately, maybe more than 100 participants will join to this public lecture. Okay, I want to save time because two excellent speakers already here. So first, I would like to give to Dr. Anidah to present her presentation. Please, Doctor.
Okay. Okay, boleh lihat ya? Can you see the screen?
Well, we can see you, Bu. We can
What about the screen? I've shared something.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, all right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amma ba'd. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Pak Zaki, Honorable fellow guest speaker, Dr. Fauzi, students, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all of you. Okay, salam dari Malaysia. Okay, pada semua students, okay, when Pak Zaki approached me last month for me to give this public lecture under the big theme of community dynamics in the post-COVID-19, I try to map it with my research expertise. Okay, in terms of my research expertise, it is actually on the SDG. I hope all of you already familiar with this SDG. Okay, there are actually 17 goals under this SDG. Okay, and then after trying to map it with this expertise of mine, so I chose this topic, rebuilding the local economy and also the rebuilding the community in the post-COVID-19 crisis, giving the emphasis on the role of social solidarity economy. Okay, so this is the exact title of my presentation. I will go quickly to all the slides and then I will leave it during the discussion for anything that you want to ask if you have any further inquiries. Okay, so this is basically the layout of my presentation. That is on the overview of the COVID-19 crisis and what we have learned so far, what Malaysia have learned, what Indonesia have learned. So how we reflect from that to rebuild. Okay, to rebuild the economy as well as the community in the aftermath of COVID-19 crisis, and then how can we move forward? Okay, so this is the overview. COVID-19 crisis, the pandemic have a profound and pervasive impact to almost all SDGs. Okay, for example, we know that the first SDG is talking about no poverty and then zero hunger. So SDG, the first and second goal concentrate on free, by the year 2030, we are expecting to have a free, to free from poverty, hunger, as well as disease. Okay, so we come to SDG 3 under poor health services and shortage of health workers. And then we have another problem that is on disruption in food production and distribution. And then because of the economic lockdown, we are now facing economic recession. All over the globe are facing the serious economic recession, and then it led to the problem of massive layoff and job losses, and then widening the inequality in terms of income. Okay, so this is somehow the overview. That's why we are now amid the pandemic crisis. We find that these are now even more than ever. Okay, so somehow all the countries nowadays, they have to relook into SDGs. They have to redefine the SDGs priorities. Okay, because of this crisis that we are facing nowadays. So what we have learned so far. So we know that now. So now we are facing, we know that the pandemic that we are facing nowadays highlights the fact that there is something wrong in the triple bottom line system. In the triple bottom line framework that we are having now, that is the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profit. I hope all of you familiar also with this triple bottom line concept. Okay, so what we have to do now is to strengthen our social fabric and our social network. We have to strengthen our social capital, okay, to be more resilient in facing this problem of COVID-19. And then that's why I am now calling for the more organized solidarity economy and also the more systematic voluntary sector in order for us to face, to ensure that we can successfully go out from this problem of pandemic. Okay, and then we have to redefine productivity. It is not anymore on the traditional metrics on how can we measure productivity. We have to incorporate another factors or another elements. For example, the network economy, the digital network. So we have to incorporate in order for us to enable us to successfully solve this problem or this crisis. Okay. So now the setting, the problem. So here the pandemic highlights the fact that there is actually a problem, okay, with the existing economic system. The existing global economic system have problem. Okay, so this is a setting. And then the pandemic managed to highlight this. There is a problem. For example, this problem is actually rooted in the prevailing system of neoliberal capitalism. Okay, because this neoliberal capitalism model, they are so much into the overproduction based on global supply chain, global finance, and also because of the concept of consumerism, and also all this led to the social inequality, economic injustice, as well as environmental degradation. So this is the problem that happened nowadays to the globe. Okay, and then the second problem is actually because of most of the countries, especially the third world countries, we are too much dependent on the top-down policy. Okay, and then we are so much dependent on the government expenditure. So now it is time for us, okay, because we want to achieve what we call as inclusive growth. Inclusive and holistic growth and development. So we need another partner to help the government. The government is now stuck. The government, and then the second sector is private. They are stuck to reach the bottom of the society. So now it is time to have our own self-help economy, to have the self-sufficient local economy. So these two problems become the foundation for us to research further on what is actually the alternative model for this failure of neoliberal capitalism and also the system of top-down policy from the government. Okay. So next. Okay. So now there is the resurgence. Because of the pandemic, the ongoing pandemic crisis has reinforced the interdependence of the world. So the word interdependence is actually the key word. We are now interdependent to each other, the world community. So because we are faced with common global challenges that can only be solved through common global solution. So we cannot work in silo anymore. Okay, we cannot work in silo anymore. The pandemic need concerted action. We must work in concert and we need integrated solution. Okay, because working together, collaborate, we can save life, restore livelihood, and bring the global economy back on track. Okay, so this is the major premises of my presentation today, that amidst the challenges of neoliberal capitalism, that's why we now see that there is an urgent necessity to find alternative development paradigm and to find alternative economic model. Okay, and then that's why now I call for the revival of social solidarity economy as a viable solution to rebalance economic, social, and environmental objective. That is the triple bottom line that I've already mentioned in the earlier slide. Okay, so solidarity economy may be instrumental to spearhead bottom-up community-driven initiative. So this will let us to be less independent on the government top-down strategy or the government top-down initiative. So it will be community-driven change. Okay, so this is the crux of solidarity economy. The community itself will build their economy. The community itself will build their society, less dependent on the government and the private sector. Okay, so this study asserts that the symbiosis of solidarity economy and Islamic economy will be more strategic and more instrumental for the rebuilding of the economy and empowering the community in the aftermath of COVID-19. Okay. So now what is social solidarity economy? What is SSE? Okay, as you can read there, this SSE refers to organizations and enterprises that are based on principle of solidarity, on the principle of participation, holistic engagement and participation, okay? And then in the spirit of voluntary participation, self-help and self-reliance through the means of enterprises and organization. That's why now we can see the rise of civil society organizations or CSO and the rise of SSEO, social solidarity economic organization, okay? Because they it's now a global phenomenon, okay, for us to, for you to understand that it is now the global phenomenon. And then it builds on partnership between government, social partners, and civil society. So you can see now that the movement now will include both the first pillar, the second pillar. So what's the first sector? The first sector is government or the public. The second one is the private or the industries. And the third pillar is actually the civil society, NGO, the philanthropists, and also the social enterprises and whatnot. Okay, so this is somehow, there is another concept that we call it as the quadruple helix. And now we are talking about the quintuple helix. All the 5 helix will go hand in hand, will go in partnership in order to promote and also to support SSE ecosystem. Okay, and then SSE promotes values and principles, the strength of the community and the people itself. It is not about profit making, but it is about servicing the community. So this is the SSE. Okay, what is the essence of social solidarity economy? Okay, as I already mentioned just now, it de-emphasizes the role of state-led initiative. Okay, so it will be lesser or minimal intervention from the government, and then the expecting the government expenditure. Everything will be controlled. Everything can be built by our own community. Okay, so it is about the minimizing the role of the government and the private sector. So it is time for us to empower the third sector of the economy. That is the NGO, the voluntary, the philanthropists, and so on. Okay, so this is a common operating principle of SSE. That is among the keywords there: participation, voluntary, autonomy, solidarity, collective, economic, and social function. Okay. Okay, so why I said solidarity economy is more relevant and more instrumental nowadays. Okay, because it is largely community-led change. The community itself will initiate the change, and they will take lead. Okay, they will wait no more for the government to take lead, but they will themselves in charge for every change that they want, for every transformation that they aspire. So they will take lead. Okay, and then minimal state-led initiative. So everything will be community-driven. And this is somehow will give the empowerment of local governance and local leadership. So this will be passed to Dr. Fauzi to explain further details on how to empower the local governance and local leadership for them to take lead, to take in charge for the change and transformation at the local level. Okay, and then to empower the role of civil society organizations. So everyone and every organization will be the social actor, will be the social change in this respective model of SSE. And then under this SSE, we will trigger active community participation and active community engagement in the development process, in the development initiative, especially in the decision-making process. It will be given them as a democratic platform to the community to involve. Okay, so they must know if there is any development program in their locality, for example. So they will be consulted and they will be together engaged, participate in that development program. Okay, and then the common feature of SSEO, the organization, is that their governance and operations are influenced by collective ownership and participatory principles. Okay, and then it is highly based on social values, shared vision, and community strengths. Okay, COVID-19, as I told you earlier, it have a severe impact in almost all SDG. So this is on how can we translate the concept of SSE as the specific instances in the local level. For example, if we are using the Islamic economy of zakat, sadaqah, infaq, and everything, we can get to finance, to fund the micro business or the household economy in the in our community. Okay, and then we can also set up using that infaq and sadaqah to setting up community channels on platform to engage virtually. This is somehow when we try to benefit the digital network for our business. Okay, so we can use also the network economy, and then we can have mosque-based kitchen. And according to my study before this, that is on the pesantren, the concept of pesantren or pondok, they have this pondok kooperatif, koperasi pondok, koperasi pesantren, okay, and then also mosque kooperatif ataupun kita panggil koperasi masjid, Okay, so they can set up the most base kitchen to provide the food banks, the community food banks. Okay, this is among the instances, among the example for how can we translate the concept of SSE at our community. Okay, and then setting up of community gardens for vegetable plantation financed by Zakat Fund. And then we can use also the wakaf land, the land that being wakaf by the donator or the endower. So we can use that land for plantation. And then that plantation can generate income, can generate wealth for our pesantren and our pondok. And then we can use also for the cooperative learning, conducting skill trainings for the laid off, untuk mereka yang dibuang kerja, for the job losers, especially for the youth. So we can provide using the money, the fund that we have, the community fund, to finance the trainings and also the learning. Okay, so this is somehow the solutions for this local level, for the local economy, for the local community. First, they can enhance business and enterprises with digital network. Hari ini banyak sekali yang everything can be done online. Okay, so we can enhance. In fact, the micro business, the household economy, they can use this digital network. Okay, from home, they can gain more profit. They can gain income. Just work from home because they use this digital network, the network economy. So strengthening the roles of the third sector, empowering community with entrepreneurship and digital entrepreneurship, strengthening the roles of Islamic solidarity economy. This is the point that I use, the term that I coined in my research, that is instead of using the Western model of social solidarity economy, why not we as a Muslim, we use our own term, our own Islamic term, that is Islamic solidarity economy, which is largely based on our concept of zakat, sadaqah, and wakaf, infaq. Okay, so I coin it as ISE instead of SSE. Okay. And then to empower local governance and leadership. So this will be the session for Pak Fauzi. And then to create more platform and channel for community in SD agenda. So we will create as many platform and channel as possible to help the disadvantaged group in our community. Because disadvantaged group for the government to reach this bottom of the society is quite difficult. So they need another layer of the organization in the community itself to help translate the government public policies and also to translate the expenditure given by the government. Okay, so to incorporate, this one is in terms of the education, to incorporate the concept of college community system to leverage the youth of pondok or in traditional schools. This is somehow one of the major findings of my research while I'm doing my research with the UMY, where the case study is the pesantren. Okay, so I see that the pesantren, they have a good business model. They have a very good entrepreneurship model to sustain the operation of the pesantren, but in terms of education, they're lacking in that sense. So we will try to give the model of Malaysian model on the college community model to inject, to incorporate in the big model of pesantren of Indonesia. So this is one of the findings of my research that I want to share here. Okay, so this is the way forward, bottom initiative instead of government-driven initiative. So now we have to go for the bottom-up initiative. No more or lessen the top-down approach. So it is now for us to highlight, to put into the forefront the bottom-up initiative. That is the initiative initiated by the community themselves. Okay, and then the role of the third sector and the network economy. This is the significant relevance, the significant role of the network economy. It will help to upgrade the business, the household business, and also the micro business itself. Okay, and then the role of government. The government should not be too dominant in terms of the driving the economy, but they must go to the facilitative role, okay, to the civil society and the community. Okay, so this is on the rise of the third sector. That is the SSE, or the Social Solidarity Economy Organization, and then the CSO, or the Civil Society Organization. But they cannot be developed or sustained by isolated organization. So at the root of the community, they must know how to work in collaborative effort. Okay, they must know on how can they upgrade the networking and the partnerships. Okay, so this is on how can we globalize solidarity. We know that the pandemic is now globalized. It already reached all over the globe. So now it is time for us to globalize solidarity. Okay, so SSEO need to root themselves in the community at all levels, local, national, and international level. So that's why I said before this, that this SSE is now a global phenomenon and a global movement. Okay. Okay, this is my research that is on how to position the Islamic solidarity economy. I don't want to go into further details here, but this is somehow the finding of my research that I published. There is an urgent necessity for us to find the new economic model, the new development paradigm that I coined as Islamic solidarity economy, instead of the just depends on the Western type of social solidarity economy. Okay, so Islamic solidarity economy has been proposed as a holistic and balanced economic system derived from the basic principle of Islamic economic system with ethical core values and principles inherent in Islam. It is primarily based on Tawheed and the intrinsic belief in human relationship with economic and social justice, equitable distribution of income, social welfare, and ukhuwah or brotherhood, Islamic brotherhood or ukhuwah. Okay, so analyzing sustainable development from the Islamic solidarity economy framework is important because it develops a more sophisticated understanding of the potential of spiritual and ethical imperative for the economic life for sustainable development amidst the challenge of neoliberal capitalism economic model. Okay. Okay, so I think I come to the end of my presentation. With unity or with solidarity, we will surely win in this battle of in facing the pandemic crisis of COVID-19. Okay, so it is time for us to globalize solidarity. Okay, despite being forced to remain in isolation to curb the spread of the virus, it is better for us to be in isolation. But the pandemic, blessing in disguise, has brought Malaysians closer together, from government, frontliners to activists and the public in the war against the COVID-19 crisis. And the most trending hashtag in Malaysia right now is Kita Jaga Kita. So it is about the keyword of solidarity. Okay, so now I'm calling for the resurgence of social solidarity economy to rebuild our economy and also our community. That's all from me. Matur suwun, matur nuwun for Yogyakarta. Matur nuwun, I think. For matur suwun is for my previous presentation in Surabaya. They call it as the matur suwun. But for Jogja, matur nuwun. Right, Pak Zaki? Okay, so I return back the screen to you. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Anidah. Actually, for Yogyakarta, Solo, you can say matur nuwun or matur suwun also okay, Bu.
Oh, okay. So can you use both?
Yeah. Actually, we can understand that we will surprise if you can say that. So Malaysian people say matur nuwun is a big surprise.
I've been in Jogja 12 times.
Yeah.
So I'm so familiar with all those words.
Yeah. So this is today is your 13th time.
Yeah, 13th time, but virtually.
Yeah, virtually. Okay, thank you very much,
Okay.
Dr. Anidah, because your presentation was great, and then we realized that the globalized economic solidarity is very important in this kind of crisis or pandemic. Yeah. Okay, let's continue to the next excellent speaker, which is Dr. Fauzi. Dr. Fauzi, time is yours.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, I have shared my screen. Can you see everyone?
Yeah.
Yes, Pak.
Okay, inshallah, I'm going to share with you on the title Humanizing Change and Empowering Local Leaders. First of all, I would like to express my most appreciation to UMY for being so kind to invite me to do this lecture, for this sharing. I'm very humble for this kindness, and inshallah, may our ukhuwah continue to grow in this difficult world. Inshallah. I'm not an expert, but perhaps there are some ideas that I would like to share with everyone over there in UMY, especially the students. To all the postgraduate students, I hope you enjoy our speech, our lecture. I remember while I was a postgrad student, being a student is basically one of the best part of my life. Yeah, because the worry is only to when we are asked to meet the supervisor. At the end, but the rest of the days we are very happy doing our own thing. Okay, so again, the title is Humanizing Change, Empowering Local Leaders. Now, this is the outline of my speech. Can you see my sharing? Okay, never mind. I will not just show the present. Just show it this way. So the outline is, first I'm going to talk about change and the world we live in. I think it's very important for us to understand the world we live in nowadays. And then what is humanizing? And then I'm going to talk about some criteria of humanizing and how to empower local leaders. I'm going to go quickly, briefly, because I know that most of the points that I'm going to share are the points that are very familiar to you all. And there's also time for us, for you to ask questions later on. Now, it's very important before we talk about change is for us to understand the world we live in nowadays. Basically, the world we live in nowadays, we're talking about globalization here, as you can see. What is globalization? Globalization always refers to no money, decline of funding. It's not that there is no money, there is money, but everyone is really careful about money nowadays because at any time, at any given minute, at any given second, things in the world can change, and therefore we need money. So money is very important as a buffer to our daily life, especially in organizations in nation. When we talk about globalization, we talk about digital technology. Air Asia, everyone can fly. Alhamdulillah, I've been to Jakarta also, I think almost 10 times or more. Alhamdulillah, because it's cheap. Yeah, the flight ticket back then was cheap, but now it's expensive. We talk about the globalized world, the world we live in nowadays, we cannot but talk about SDG. Dr. Anidah has talked about this before. And previously, we have always talked about the IR 4.0. Klaus Schwab, the founder of World Economic Forum, mentioned that the fourth industrial revolution will affect the very essence of our human experience. And until last year, the worry of everyone around the world is about IR 4.0. But mashallah, God is great. It's not IR 4.0 that we are worried nowadays. It's actually the world of COVID-19, also known as the VUCA world. Yeah, I'm sure some of you have heard the word VUCA. It's very famous nowadays. If you want to do research, you must use the word VUCA. So what is VUCA? The VUCA world means the volatile, the uncertain, the complex, the ambiguous world that we live in nowadays. We don't know what is going on. Yeah, I'm going back to my hometown right after this. Yeah, but I don't know along the way. Hopefully everything will be fine. I don't know about people, friends over there. You know, at any time things will change. And in Malaysia, every day, the Ministry of Home Affairs, Special Affairs will always come on TV to share with us what is happening in Malaysia in terms of COVID-19. Yeah. So basically, in bahasa Malaysia or Indonesia, it means the buka means kepantasan sesuatu perkara itu berubah. Change happens so quickly. The uncertainty or ketidaktentuan, the complexity or the kerumitan, or the ambiguity, the kekaburan. We don't know what is going to happen. Yeah? So this is the VUCA world. According to Carrie Adelstein, she's the CEO of Research Narrative. Yes, she said that in some ways, change is the new normal. Previously, we changed based on civilizations, but nowadays we live in the world of change. Every day is change. Yeah? So, and at today's breakneck pace of change, it's not enough to be an expert in here and now. Yeah. So now, why do we need to change? Now, these are some of the reasons. If you go on the internet, if you read papers, there are many other reasons, but these are some of the important reasons why we need to change. First of all, the advances of technology, the advances of management, the millennial, the new young people right now who are always demanding, who are always not loyal to organization. They always change. They know the internet, the global workforce, the diversity, the speed of connectivity, the involvement of human learning, the digital experience. These are all the reasons why that we need to change besides COVID-19 just now. However, change is not easy. It's difficult. Why is it difficult? Because it disrupts status quo. It disrupts relationships and networking. It needs effort, and people are lazy. May not be meaningful to them. Requires a lot of sacrifice. Yeah? If you want to implement change, lots of sacrifice. And we need lots of resources, especially money. And change doesn't work over time. It needs a lot of time. According to John Cotter, a very famous thinker of change, academic of change, he stated that change effort failed because, number one, and I think this is normal, as you can see, maybe some of the examples of or lessons are around you. Most people, it fails because they focus on glory, short-term glory. Number two is because it's a top-down effort. It comes from the boss. There is no sense of urgency among the people, no involvement from the people. It ignores human factor. It ignores the people again. A lot of people, when they do change, also, they fear resistance. They don't like resistance. If they see someone who resists, they think of the person as an enemy. A lot of change effort lacks quality investment. We're not talking about money here, because people may invest, government may invest money, but the lack of quality investment. Investment means you need to invest at the right place, at the right time, for the right purpose. Yeah, and a lot of people, when they do change, they lack trust. Yeah. Now, come to the word of humanizing. You know, about at the early of 2019, early last year, I was about to withdraw some money online, and when I opened my bank, I saw this word, humanizing. And I say to myself, apa ni? What is humanizing ni? Kenapa banking nak humanize? Yeah? And I did some research, and I found the word humanize everywhere on the internet. That is the word humanizing AI, humanizing commerce, humanizing technology, humanized branding, humanizing autonomy, humanizing data and big data. There's also words about humanizing research, humanizing innovation. There is talk about, and people has talked about humanizing the fourth industrial revolution. And the speakers are great speakers. These are the rectors of the UTeM, the International Islamic University Malaysia. And it talks about humanizing. And there is humanizing business, humanizing the workplace, humanizing education, humanizing higher education. And there's many talks about humanizing healthcare. And I say to myself, what is humanizing? When I teach my students, and I have to teach them about design thinking process, and I saw this word empathize. And I say, why is that empathize relates to humanizing? So the word humanizing is everywhere in 2019. And then I did a little bit more research, and I found brand futurologist Martin Lindstrom, who talks about big data, states the importance of humanization of big data. Previously, we talked so much about big data, especially those from the discipline of economy. We talked about big data. We are very excited about big data, but Martin Lindstrom states that we have to be careful. Unless you humanize the big data doesn't mean anything. Why? Because sometimes we are so very excited about big data that we risk the loss of depth, the relevance and understanding of evolutionary logic, the loss of culture, of humanity, and of life. According to Martin, he stated that innovation needs to understand life, beings, cultures, subcultures, and society. So he was stating that when we talk about understanding data, we need to have some sort of the qualitative approaches. We have to have this in order for us to understand data so that it will be more flexible, adaptable, and dynamic. Now, so when I did my research, I found that humanization was actually the keyword for 2019. And when I talk about humanization, it actually touches all sectors, all professions, all generations, talks about consumer focus. When you talk about consumer focus, it means the people. Because nowadays, people is most important. Besides, we have B2B and B2C, business to business, business to community. Now we have H to H, which is human to human. And again, the word humanization is stressed. So what is humanization? Based on the dictionary of Merriam-Webster, humanization means to portray or endow with human characteristics or attributes, or make something human, to imbue with humaneness, human kindness, and civilize, based on human civilization. Now, if you do some research about humanization, you will see that there are many words that reflects humanization. In some book, it is stated as the humanistic approach, famously quoted by Paulo Freire in his paper 2017, quite famous this one. And then Julie M. Wilson in her book in 2016, 2014 talks about the human side of changing education. But before that, there was Robert Evans, who talked about the importance, the crucial aspect of understanding the human side when you do change. And he was focusing on human change at school. So if you look at these three, you will be able to understand what human is all about. Basically, humanizing refers to, these are some of the things that I'm able to extract. Number one, communicating through listening. So when you talk about humanizing, so listen attentively. Number two, you're talking about the second and third layers. What is beneath? students, sometimes when we communicate to people, what we do is we only listen to the first layer. But please understand that when we speak to human, there are actually the second layer and third layer that we have to understand. So this is what is meant by humanizing. Humanizing also refers to the belief system, the culture, the relationships and networking, the history, the emotions, the empathy, the contextual matters. The understanding that there is no one size fits all. Previously, we talked about everything fits into one formula. No. In humanization, no one size fits all. We no longer talk about the best practices. We only talk about good practices. And last but not least, most important is the presence, not presence. So number 11, what does it mean? It means that, for example, if I'm a father, if I want to understand my children, for them to appreciate me, I don't have to bring back gift to them. No, but I have to be there for them. Yeah? So this is what humanizing is. So going back to our topic, in the context of the present world and the importance of humanizing that I have shared, what are the keys to empowering local leaders in the changing world of VUCA? So number one, I'm proposing that first we have to identify and build rapport with local leaders, no matter where they are. Local community leaders. We have to build rapport. What does it mean, rapport? We must build good relationship. That is most important. We have to gain their trust so that we are able to maintain the good relationship. We must learn about the people. We must learn about their way of life. We must learn about the history, the tradition, the culture, the belief system, the success stories, the needs and the desires. We need to learn from them who are their enemies or their foes. We need to understand what are their fears so that we are able to understand the genuine problems of the people that we want to lead to make the change. Number two, I am proposing that we must open up communication channels. And when I say opening up communication channels, it is very important for us to have our presence. If you are the boss, you don't just tell the people to change, but you have to go down. You have to have hand-holding session with them. Meet the people face to face and always listen. Do not ask people to listen to you, but you in return must listen to the people. Whenever you want to communicate, always communicate from the heart. Number three, I'm proposing that we must allow customization, modification, flexibility, adaptability, good practices, and remember that it's no one size fits all. Always expect new methods and ways. Always give people time because change is not easy. It's not the success that is important, but what is important is the relationship and the progress towards the end objective. And number four, I am proposing that we must always give recognition. We must always be sincere. It must come from the heart. We must accept defeat, that in order to achieve success, there will always be defeat. Last but not least, I would like to share with all of you, the Malaysian government in the 11th Malaysian Plan has stressed the importance of the people of Malaysia. Subtitle as Anchoring Growth on People, the Malaysian government stated that people are the bedrock of the nation. Preparing the people for the future is important and everyone enjoys growth. If you can see the arrow that I'm showing here, states that by the end of the day, governments have now focused towards human. In other words, it's the humanizing that is most important. So that is all that I would like to share with you. Short but sweet, but I would appreciate questions from members of the floor. Thank you very much, and I give back the floor to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fauzi, for your great presentation. I think the topic of humanizing change are very related to my lecture regarding community dynamics, because every day we change. Yeah, every day everything are changing. So this is very interesting and very good for my students or other participants who join to this meeting. Okay, again, thank you very much for Dr. Anidah for your presentation and Dr. Fauzi for your presentation. Next, we will continue to the discussion. I hope many participants can contribute to the question and answer session. Okay, is there any question from participants? You can ask anything, but not limited to today's topic. Yeah, if you have any other things to ask to Dr. Fauzi or Dr. Anidah, they are also welcome. Hello, is there any question from my students? I think from what you got from the lecture of community dynamics, I think you will have many questions to Dr. Anidah and Dr. Fauzi, ya. Hello?
You can also speak in Bahasa Indonesia, and if I don't understand, I will ask you.
Okay, you can also ask in Bahasa Indonesia. Dr. Fauzi and Dr. Anidah will understand that because they are very often come to Yogyakarta, ya. Yeah, hello, my students. So maybe while we are waiting the participants to prepare their question, I have a question for Dr. Anidah. Actually, what happened when the pandemic comes to Malaysia and before Malaysia? I heard that Muslim community or Muslim people in Malaysia, they are campaigning buy Muslim products. It is this kind of campaign is one of the economic solidarity, Bu.
Oh, yeah, we did have that movement prior to the problem of COVID-19. But that campaign, we call it as Buy Muslim First, BMF. It is actually in response to the political problem of Malaysia at that time after the general election of 14 general election, when you know that when Tun Mahathir came back to the political front, and then at that time, because of there is a movement from those the ruling party, because it is the composition of the ruling party of the Pakatan Harapan. Okay, this Pakatan Harapan, it has a lot of the non-Muslim members of the parliament. Okay, so they are actually trying to promote the concept of Malaysia Baharu, concept the new Malaysia. So under the concept of new Malaysia, there is a very high competition between Muslim and the non-Muslim. So when those non-Muslim, they challenge too much in terms of economy. So those Muslim part, the Muslim community, they try to develop their own economy and then to empower the Muslim community through this campaign of Buy Muslim First, the BMF. It is true actually, Pak Zaki. We have that. And then when the pandemic happened, that campaign, I think it become much more well translated in the context where most of the Muslim household, each and every one of them, they have their own business, though it is small, especially in terms of just food making, for example. Okay, but they did well in terms of benefiting from the digital network. So through WhatsApp, WA, they have Instagram and everything. So they jual everything on the online platform. So this is somehow something that will be a great, good competition actually, a healthy competition between the Muslim and non-Muslim business. Yeah. And then it is true. It happened actually.
So it is become bigger when the pandemic come, or
Yeah, but it is yet to be in a very structured form. It is very loose. It is just a movement yang belum lagi direcognize secara besar-besaran. It is just macam satu kita panggil in response towards the concept of Malaysia Baharu under this propaganda from the non-Muslim member of parliament under the concept of Malaysia Baharu. Then this group of Muslim community dia buatlah kempen ini untuk highlight Muslim product, buy Muslim first.
Yeah, actually in Indonesia when the pandemic come, in some area there are people who have more money or more food stuff. They are providing the food for a stranger from for other people. So I think this kind of solidarity or economic or other solidarity also happen, or maybe stronger, after the COVID-19.
It's becoming stronger. And in fact, this is one of the instances on how can we translate the concept of solidarity economy into the practice. That is on the BMF, the campaign, Buy Muslim First. This is one of the solidarity from the side of the Muslim community.
Yeah, I think that's a very good idea. And actually, even
one more thing I want to add. This Buy Muslim First product is now being upgraded to be the beli barangan buatan Malaysia. Maknanya to prioritize Malaysian products. Because Malaysian products will comprising not only the big industry, but also the micro business and the small and medium enterprises. So now they leverage the Buy Muslim product into the Buy Muslim Malaysian product. So sekarang memang ada movement di Malaysia.
Is there any formal institution that give the big umbrella for that movement?
For example, we have the exhibition, the national exhibition on the halal product. We call it the exhibition of MIHAS, Malaysian International Halal. I'm not so sure about the exact word of that acronym, but we have this MIHAS, which is an exhibition of all those halal products. It is monitored by government, but I'm not sure the ministry which directly in charge for this MIHAS. But we have this MIHAS and MAHA. MIHAS, the acronym is MIHAS and MAHA. It is all on the Malaysian halal product, especially the SME product, small and medium enterprises. But now when we talk about local economy, it is about the household economy. Rumah tangga punya business. Jual sikit kecil, benda kecil-kecilan sahaja. Gitu.
By WhatsApp or something like that,
Yeah. But we can leverage. Kita boleh upgrade benda yang daripada household product menjadi kepada tahap yang lebih tinggi, kepada national level. Because we have a platform. Platform itu ada.
Thank you, Dr. Anidah. Next, I want to, before we continue to the participant, okay, let's continue to the participant, and I want to challenge Dr. Fauzi to answer the question in the chat. In Bahasa Indonesia, can you, Doctor?
In the chat.
Challenge you, Doctor.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Doctor.
In Indonesia, Pak Fauzi.
Okay.
In Indonesia.
Selamat pagi Bapak dan Ibu. Saya ingin bertanya bagaimana pengendalian COVID-19 di Malaysia. Apakah masyarakat di sana mentaati protokol kesihatan yang ditetapkan pemerintah di sana atau langkah apa saja yang dilakukan pemerintah Malaysia dalam mengendalikan COVID-19? But I think this is a very good question. It relates to humanization, relates to change. Terima kasih. I think at the moment, initially, I think when we had our MCO, when the government did measures, initially the people are quite reluctant to follow But after that, when people know, when the death cases starts to increase and people realize the reality, the dangerous side of COVID, people start to follow, and especially when the government put stricter measures. You cannot go out, you cannot buy food, you have to stay. And we had that for about 3 months. We cannot go out and we cannot do much. Yeah? It was difficult for everyone. I think that was when everyone had to follow. But then when the government had relaxed the measures, as you can see, people goes back to, the numbers of cases of COVID in Malaysia is a bit worrying. Now it's reached 1,000 a day. In fact, the other day has reached 2,000. However, Alhamdulillah, in Malaysia, it's very much in control. Even though the numbers is about 1,000 to 2,000, basically the clusters are identified. Basically, we know that COVID is not in an uncontrolled situation. For example, sometimes it happens in a very small area, in prison, for example, at the police barrack, for example. So people are still feel relaxed. Now, saying that, I just want to share this with you. COVID is a good example. Yeah? Again, we can relate to the BMF. Just now, as stated by Bu Anidah, both COVID and BMF, it talks about, it relates to the purpose of people doing something. Yeah? So, in terms of COVID, just to share this with you, the governments have to learn to understand why people do certain things. There must be reasons. Sometimes, for example, just now as mentioned, people, we think perhaps that based on solidarity they want to do this and that. They start giving money, they do this and that. But sometimes we forgot that some people just do certain things, happily doing certain things because they want to take pictures and post it on their Facebook and post it in IG, get it viral so that people, so that they will gain more likes. Yeah? So it's very difficult for us to actually say that certain things are happening because of certain things, because we don't actually know. Yeah? COVID-19, for example, is an example whereby that the government needs to go down and really understand why people is doing certain things, what is happening. Then only I think we are able to control and manage what is going on. Do you get my point?
Yes, Bapak. So maybe I will open the question from other participant. Is there any other question? I think both topic from Dr. Fauzi and Dr. Anidah are very interested, very interesting. Yeah, is there any question, Salma?
Yeah. Let me introduce myself first. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
I'm the third semester student of UMY, and this is my question. Oh my God. I'm a bit curious about Malaysian Malaysian regulation related economic solidarity during pandemic that interesting and affected the most the dynamic society in Malaysia. Thank you.
Dr. Anidah?
Saya tidak berapa dengar.
Salma,
Not very clear.
Could you repeat your main question? The most?
The Malaysian regulation that affected the most with the dynamic society, the economic solidarity.
Regulation
yeah.
economic solidarity?
Yeah.
So how about the Malaysian regulation or policy regarding economic solidarity, Bu?
Oh, okay.
The most interesting.
Okay. I just want to top up from what Dr. Fauzi's answer just now, which is on the what is actually the measures okay, taken by the government of Malaysia in facing this pandemic problem. Actually, we are now in the third wave of pandemic COVID-19 crisis. Okay, we are now in the third wave. Before this, everything have been relaxed, like what Dr. Fauzi mentioned just now. But now the government had to reimpose the MCO, but this MCO now called as the enhanced MCO and then conditional MCO. So we are now under this perintah kawalan pergerakan diperketat and bersyarat. Okay, so this is the two MCO that we are having now. And then in terms of the economy, we have now, the government already implemented two major economic initiatives. The first one is Prihatin package, and the second one is Penjana package. So we have these two. And then billions of expenditure being given by the Malaysian government to help to support the rakyat, the people, as well as the business and the industries. Okay, so this is the two package, Prihatin and Penjana. And then it is now time for us, most of us are now still under these two package. Okay, among the important one is that most of the B40 segment of the society, the disadvantaged group, the poor families and everything, they will get cash. I'm not, how much Dr. Fauzi? 1,600 saya kira, for 3 months. For the B40 families, they will be given this subsidy. Okay? And then for those laid off, orang yang dibuang kerja, mereka diberi diberi wage subsidy, upah, subsidi upah, okay, for 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. And then those community, while they are being given this cash as a subsidy, so they can use that to generate income while staying at home. So dia kecil-kecilan sahaja, they can use their business, and then they can use the online platform, the digital network, on how can they leverage their business among their community. And then we can use those courier services. Kan sekarang ada yang Gojek gitu kan Pak Zaki, kalau di Indonesia ada Gojek kan. So the rise of this we call it as the ekonomi itu, gig economy. Ekonomi yang memanfaatkan digital platform untuk mereka memasarkan, untuk mereka advertise their products and everything. So it somehow helps so much. Those subsidy given by the government in terms of the upah, wage subsidy, gantian kepada gaji, because many of them have been forced to resign, untuk berhenti kerja, so they lost income. So solidarity economy helps so much in this kind of crisis. Okay, so they have to use that Prihatin package given by the government to finance their business, though it is a small business from their household. So this is one of the instances that I can give lah. But basically the Malaysian government, they provided these two economic packages. You can Google to see the details in terms of Prihatin package and also Penjana package.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Anidah. Dr. Fauzi, do you have any additional explanation regarding that government policy?
I think what I could say is that Alhamdulillah, in Malaysia, basically it boils down to what happens in the Malaysian economic Malaysian political scenario. I'm sure everyone knows that previously the Barisan Nasional under Najib Razak was in power for a long time. UMNO was in power for a long time. And then there was this 22 months under PH Pakatan Harapan led by Anwar Ibrahim. Now I'm saying about this politics because it somehow has changed the way the government react to things and do things. So, which was actually very good. So previously when we had the Barisan and UMNO, the way to do things are always the same. It's always top down. Yeah. But then during the 22 months of the PH Empower in Malaysia, they tried to do some changes. They tried to put the people first. They tried to ensure integrity. They tried to do this. They tried to change the people's mindset. They tried to demolish any elements of this integrity, and when Barisan Nasional came back to power, and this time around with the Islamic Party in coalition with them, so they had learned a bit about the past and now, as you can see, when they do these packages during the MCO based on COVID, due to COVID, the way of doing things has been more different. They are very much people oriented. They are very much integrity oriented. People can ask questions nowadays, and I think that is perhaps one of the reasons that I think whatever that the government is rolling out has been working well. So the changes that has happened to the Malaysian political scenario, I think is an important factor towards how the Malaysian government has, I think thus far, able to face the problems of COVID.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Fauzi. Is there any other question? I saw before Eka. Eka, do you have a question?
Ada soalan untuk Naufal Ismail itu. Dari segi tahap pematuhan, tahap pematuhan dari Malaysian quite good, especially during the first lockdown. Pada Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan yang pertama, tahap pematuhan memang sangat tinggi di kalangan rakyat Malaysia. Cuma apabila pergi kepada measure yang seterusnya selepas lockdown itu telah berlakunya rentas negeri. So interstate sudah berlaku, maka di situ ada sedikit banyak beberapa masalah, tetapi pengendalian dari pihak pemerintah, mereka meletakkan compound dan denda-denda tertentu. What is compound and fines, Pak Zaki?
Denda, yes.
Denda, okay, sama. Di sini Malaysia pun panggil denda. Jadi ada denda tertentu, maksimum 1,000. Jadi kalau tidak mematuhi SOP, for example, di public space, di kawasan publik, di kawasan awam, sekiranya tidak mematuhi SOP, basic SOP, memakai pelitup muka, tidak menjaga jarak, and then kita boleh kena compound. Public gathering cannot happen at all. So kalau kita masih buat, then kita kena compound RM1,000.
Around 4 million rupiah. 4 million ya.
300, about 1 million, 1 million lebih lah. Sedikit sebab mana pula? Berapa sekarang?
For 1 ringgit is 4,000 rupiah, around 4,000.
Sudah 400 sekarang. Dulu saya ke Jogja cuma 287 gitu.
Sekarang 4.000 kayaknya, Bu.
Jadi about 4 million lah, 4 million.
Ya,
4 million rupiah. Dendanya itu 4 million. Jadi sekarang we have to live in accordance to the to the new norm. Sentiasa memakai pelitup muka. Tapi ini virtual nggak apa-apa. Tidak pakai nggak apa.
So for the people who judge or bring that
enforcer,
police or
the law enforcer, the police.
Law enforcer.
Yeah, the police. And then at the community level, they also have their own enforcer of this law.
Oh, I see.
So the solidarity economy is also looking at that part of the frontliners is the community itself.
Yeah, and I just want to share that I think the best part also that one of the things that I think should be applauded is nowadays there is this tagline, we are all frontliners. Right now the focus is first we appreciated all the frontliners that has done their good job.
Yeah.
And now this is empowering actually. Yeah? Empowering. When we say that we are all frontliners, we are actually empowering the community to do whatever that is best.
Yeah, empowering the community themselves to become the frontliners. Kita jaga
Yeah.
kita. Okay.
Yeah.
That is the trending hashtag now.
But I'm sure that there's more that we can learn also. Yeah.
So, kita jaga kita for all Malaysian, or maybe for like Chinese Malaysian, Indian Malaysian also have much contribute to this
all. Regardless of races now.
I see.
What happened in Malaysian context is now regardless of your ethnicity.
I see.
All kita jaga kita semua.
And beyond politics.
Because pandemic don't recognize your.
Hello. Hello. Hello, Ibu.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Let's move to the another question. Is there any other question from Novara or from Eka? Hello? Is there any other question? I think 115 ya, 115.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
But the question are not so much. So while we are waiting, I want to ask to Dr. Fauzi. You explain about the Humanising, yeah. In the Malaysian context, how about the Humanising leader is happen in Malaysia? Humanising leader in Malaysia, in the context of maybe community dynamics or community social process in Malaysia.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Zaki. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Pak.
I think in the context of Malaysia, not only Malaysia, I think in the context of Asia as a whole, we are always a bit left behind by whatever that people are doing in other countries. I think that is why perhaps they call us the third world country. Yeah, because sometimes the development of thinking, theories and fundamentals, sometimes we are a bit left behind. Now, I think and again, the same case goes here. I think even though in the business sector, as you can see in Maybank, you can see there is the word humanizing. But in overall, I think the humanizing agenda or the humanizing awareness are still very much lacking. Very much still top down. Things are still going top down, not bottom up. Because when you talk about humanization, has to go to Freire 2017. In my slide, I stated just now, Freire 2017 stated that if you want to do humanization, first thing you need to do is liberalization. Liberalization means that we must be able to give everyone the voice. That is number one. And to be aware that every human is important no matter who they are. So again, my simple answer is there is still a lack of awareness, perhaps the lack of knowledge of why humanizing is very important. And I think it's hopefully slowly we can raise this awareness. Basically, it's all about telling people that by the end of the day, we have to put people first. Yeah, slowly, inshallah.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any question? Mahasiswa boleh bertanya menggunakan bahasa Indonesia also okay, because Bu Anidah and Pak Fauzi can understand, ya. Come on.
May I suggest something?
Yeah, Pak.
Since right now Bu Nida is with IPTK, so Bu Nida, maybe we can have a collaboration next time between the student postgrad of IPTK and student prograd of UMY. I think that will be good. Bu Nida, what do you think?
Collaboration in terms of research?
In terms of this kind of program.
Oh, this kind of program. Okay, why not?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, I think it will be great.
Fauzi. Actually, I'm coordinating only undergraduate. I don't have channel to postgraduate student.
But maybe Pak Zaki may
It's
propose.
okay.
You may propose
Yes.
to the
Yeah.
the upper level. Because all this
Yeah,
work
despite of the level,
we only have collaboration and MOU, MOA with FAI, Fakultas Agama Islam.
Yeah.
Maybe it is high time for us to collaborate with other fakultas, especially with your fakultas agriculture.
There is no MOU with university to university, Bu. I took already. There is MOU.
there is.
University to university. No.
No, I mean before this, my MOU and MOA is with FAI, Fakultas Agama Islam, with Pak Hilman, with Prof Hilman. But that MOA already finished, 2018.
I see.
Now,
So maybe what should we do? Maybe we can talk later or by email or by WhatsApp. I can take to the upper level. At least maybe MOA between faculties there is faster ya Bu ya.
Yeah, betul. Because MOA is about research venture. When we venture into research, then we need this signing of MOA.
Yeah.
Maybe we will think about it later.
Yeah. Okay. For Bu Anidah, meanwhile we are waiting my student to ask. How about the economic solidarity in terms of Islamic world? So we talk about like international level. What is your forecast in the future regarding economic solidarity for Islamic world?
Yes, this is the most important.
Dr. Anidah. Dr. Anidah.
Yeah.
And Dr. Zaki.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm very sorry I have to go.
Yeah.
Because my family waiting at the university gate.
Okay, Pak
They cannot come into the.
Yeah.
They cannot come into the campus. So I would like to thank you for this opportunity, and inshallah, I have left my card, and inshallah we will have these programs again. Yeah, Bu Anidah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Fauzi,
for joining hand.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, maybe you can continue, Bu.
Okay, with regard to your question, Pak Zaki, maybe this is a time for us to think about how to strengthen the solidarity ecosystem. Okay, so ecosystem, it will comprise of many aspects. Okay, for example, the political aspect of the ecosystem, and then the economic angle of the ecosystem, and the social cultural aspect of the ecosystem. So it is time, though we have to admit that this solidarity economy is actually started from the Western part of the world. Okay, but we also we take it from the essence of Islamic economy. That Islamic economy, as I already presented just now, we based on the social justice, the concept of adil, the concept of mizan, balance, the concept of maslahah ammah. Actually, in our maqasid Islam, we did discuss on, we already have this concept of maqasid syariah. So maqasid syariah is somehow on how can we leverage solidarity, how can we leverage the concept of social solidarity, social justice, and also economic justice. Okay, so keadilan itu dah ada dalam Islam sekian lama. Jadi how can we translate? So that one, we need the further study on how can we translate the concept of Islamic solidarity economy in the context. But we must bear in mind, we must be mindful that this concept is very highly contextual. It depends on the context. Maybe the context of Malaysia different from the context of Thailand, from the context of Muslim in Indonesia, Muslim in Singapore. So this is what I mean, that the concept of solidarity economy is actually highly contextual. It depends on the context. And then it depends so much on the strength of the community, the values, the norms, the principles, the relationship, the culture. So everything is about the community. So it might be different from other communities. Okay, so when we want to rebuild, if we want to build our local economy, it must depends on our own strength. Kekuatan kita itu apa? Tak mungkin sama antara satu kecamatan dengan satu kecamatan tu pastinya berbeza, kan? Satu desa dengan satu desa kekuatannya pastinya berlainan, takkan mungkin sama. Jadi di situ we need to understand our SWOT first. What is SWOT? Strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat analysis. So kita kena analyze dulu. Then baru kita tahu on how can we localize the SDG, on how can we localize the concept of SSE, solidarity economy itu.
Yeah, Ibu, actually now we have two questions. First come from W. Putri Ambarwati. Selamat pagi, saya mau nanya bagaimana pemerintah Malaysia membantu masyarakat yang terdampak COVID dan bagaimana respon masyarakat ketika ada tetangga yang positif COVID-19. It's okay, Bu?
Oh, okay. Yang bagaimana pemerintah tadi saya sudah terangkan.
Okay.
Ya, saya sudah terangkan. Kita ada dua package. We have dua package ekonomi, prihatin and penjana. Saya sudah reply di chat itu. Okay. Bagaimana untuk respon andai ada tetangga? Okay, the concept of kita jaga kita, bila ada tetangga kita yang terkait, biasanya dia sudah melalui saringan swab test. Okay, mereka sudah melalui saringan. Jadi bila hasil daripada saringan itu mengatakan bahawa mereka itu positif, jadi bukan langsung, itu bukan tugas tetangga. Tetangga paling-paling pun mereka hanya boleh menghubungi pihak kesihatan untuk datang, tapi nanti pihak kesihatan sendiri akan datang dengan ambulannya. Ambil langsung tetangga itu, langsung dibawa. Dalam banyak-banyak kasus yang berlaku, ada tetangga yang pergi diambil oleh ambulan, langsung tidak pulang. Langsung meninggal dunia dan tidak bisa diziarahi. Jadi kita langsung hanya sedekah Al-Fatihah. Because kita tak boleh langsung get into contact. And then we will be declared as close contact kepada tetangga itu nanti. Mungkin kita juga perlu melalui saringan COVID itu. Jadi kalau kita pula yang positif, kita pula nanti ambulan akan datang ambil dan bawa ke rumah sakit. Jadi begitu saja. Semua berada di bawah in term of penyakit sakit ini langsung kepada pihak ministry, Kementerian Kesihatan.
Because in Indonesia, some positive people, they will not pick up by the health staff or health officer, but they do the self quarantine in their own house. What happened in Malaysia is also there is self quarantine.
For those quarantine, under quarantine is actually those who are the contact to the pesakit. Kalau dia di-declare as a contact, mungkin mereka pernah bertemu sebentar di luar di halaman rumah, jadi dia perlu di-declare sebagai contact, maka dia perlu self quarantine. Sehingga saringan kedua, the second swab test, kalau hasilnya itu mereka negatif, dan baru mereka boleh keluar daripada quarantine. Tapi yang pesakit itu positif, langsung masuk ke rumah sakit. Quarantine di rumah sakit.
Karena di Indonesia itu, meskipun dia sakit positif, ada yang disuruh untuk self quarantine di rumah itu. Jadi tidak semua ke rumah.
Mungkin itu because of the prasarana. Because di prasarana tidak mencukupi. Tapi kalau di Malaysia, setakat ini kami tidak punya isu yang banyak berkaitan prasarana. So semua yang sakit langsung ke rumah sakit. Mereka yang hanya ada kontak-kontak itu hanya quarantine saja di rumah. Tapi akan ada those officer in charge untuk datang lihat suhu mereka harian within 14 days. 14 days under quarantine. So akan ada staff yang akan datang untuk melihat rekod dan progres daripada mereka yang kontak tadi, yang dalam kuarantin. Tapi yang sakit memang langsung di rumah sakit. Nggak bisa di rumah.
Di Indonesia ada yang di rumah.
Oh iya. Karena mungkin itu isu facilities, Pak. Mungkin isu infrastrukturnya tidak mencukupi.
Bu, ini ada pertanyaan lagi. There is one more question from Gilang Baskara, Ibu. How to persuade people who are close-minded and don't care about COVID-19 to be open-minded, to take care of themselves, take care of their neighbors or their friends with protecting with health protocol, with applying protocol. Because in Indonesia we find so many people don't applying health protocol.
Okay, this is somehow about the individual itself. Okay, so apapun ini semua kembali kepada individu, dia mentality, dia mindset, dia attitude. So kalau individual, we cannot do much because perubahan seseorang itu hanya diubah oleh orang itu. Okay, tetapi yang boleh dibuat adalah intervention daripada kerajaan. Kerajaan can make the intervention. For example, kita impose penalty, we impose compound, we impose fine. Tapi selebihnya untuk berubah, harus orang itu sendiri yang berubah. Kalau dia memang sudah attitude-nya itu close-minded, what we can do? Kita tak boleh ubah apa-apa kan? Melainkan mungkin kita boleh doa supaya dia yang kena COVID itu. Supaya dia tahu bahawa dia sadar. Kan? Jadi we cannot do much. Tapi for government, they can do so much measures and intervention on how to intervene in that process. Whether it is in the form of penalty, reward or penalty, then it can come from the government. The rest, it is up to the individual itself. Kalau dia mau berubah, dia mau sihat, then dia. Tapi kalau in term of government, in term of social media and media, they did a lot in term of advertisement, okay, on how to spread the awareness. Itu semua fungsi-fungsi daripada pihak media. Boleh juga berlaku, membantu kerajaan. Tapi kalau kerajaan, dia akan membantu dalam konteks rules, regulations, penalty. Tapi kalau dari pihak media, pun media boleh bantu dari segi advertisement, spreading the awareness, kan, on the SOP and everything.
Okay, I will ask one more question or two more question. If there is no question, maybe we can close this meeting, ya Bu ya.
Yeah.
Is there any other question? I will open one or two question for the last. Hello? No question? I think they are shy, Bu, shy.
Shy, oh, isin ya?
Isin.
Ojo isin.
Ojo isin loh. Bu Anidah aja bilang ojo isin. Ayo.
Isin kok.
Ojo isin. Kalau seperti ini namanya ngisin-ngisini. Tahu ya?
Ngisin-ngisinin.
Make other people same, Bu.
Oh.
Yeah. And any question? No? Oke. Ya. Naufal. Oke. Oh, tidak ada Naufal.
Okay.
Okay, Bu, maybe you can give a closing statement for today's public lecture.
Oh, okay. I think, as I already highlight just now, that there is now a call, okay, serious call to find an alternative model for development and also alternative for the economic paradigm, because we know that whatever happened in this world nowadays is actually because of the problem rooted in the neoliberal capitalism economic model. Okay, so it is high time for us to find the alternative. That's why now I'm suggesting or I'm proposing the revival of social solidarity economy, or I term it in the Islamic term as the Islamic solidarity economy, which is very much rooted in the principle of solidarity and the principle of ukhuwah, maslahah ammah, or the public what is masalah ammah? Common good. Okay, what is good for the common, what is good for all, then we should strive for it. We work hand in hand untuk merealisasikan apa yang dimaksudkan dengan solidarity itu sendiri. Dalam Islam sendiri, konsep unity atau ittihad itu sangat penting kan. Jadi on how can we translate, it can be in multiple form of this SSE. They can be in so many forms, dalam bentuk dan design structure yang mungkin pelbagai. Tetapi dalam hal yang berkaitan dengan spirit, which is the spirit of ittihad, then how can we translate on how can we manifest it in the format yang ikut pada konteks community kita sendiri. And then it is up to our creativity and our innovation. Okay? But it is time for us to globalize solidarity. So with that phrase, I would like to end my presentation, and I would like to take this opportunity again to thank Pak Zaki and his prodi and his department for inviting me to give this public lecture today. Okay, so as what is the aspiration from Pak Fauzi before this, he mentioned that hope that this ukhuwah will not stop here.
Yeah.
So inshallah, we will find another way and another chance to collaborate in the near future. Yeah. Okay, Pak Zaki, thank you so much. Thank you again for inviting me.
Okay.
So, thank you semua. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Everybody who are the participants of this meeting, that is the presentation from Dr. Anidah and Dr. Fauzi. I hope what they presented today, what the discussion result today can be benefit for us and then for the students of community dynamics. I hope today's meeting, today's public lecture can increase your knowledge regarding the community dynamics post COVID-19. Okay, that's all from me. I hope we can continue for the another collaboration, ya Bu.
Okay, inshallah.
Ya.
And my regards to Dekan and also your HOD, Head Department.
Ya.
My regards for them. Salam. Okay.
Ya, terima kasih Bu.
Assalamualaikum.
Ya, bila itu
ya. Pak Zaki, I leave now, okay?
Ya.
Alright.
From me, bila taufiq wal hidayah, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Untuk sertifikat nanti akan segera dibuat dan di-share ke teman-teman ataupun kepada partisipan di luar UMJ. Partisipan di luar UMJ nanti akan dikirim by email untuk link sertifikatnya. Terima kasih. Bye-bye.